next speaker for you is going to just take a couple minutes of your time. He's one of your former state senators, Joe Markley.
Thank you, Deborah. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. You know, we memorialized today a tragic event in American history. On another occasion of tragedy, our greatest national trauma, Abraham Lincoln gave the most famous speech in American history, the Gettysburg Address. And in it he said, "We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth." Ladies and gentlemen, he left us a test of what we have done to keep faith with those who gave their lives on our behalf. That these dead shall not have died in vain. This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom. Do we need a new birth of freedom in this country, ladies and gentlemen? He said, "Government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from this earth." Has it perished? Let me ask you, I'll tell you, government of the people, are the people governed? You bet we're governed. We're governed right up to the throats. There's no lack of government of the people. And government for the people, that's all we hear about. What's the government going to do for us? It's going to do this, it's going to do that, the government's going to take care of us. What I'd like the government to do for me is leave me alone. That big frog with that big puffy head of white hair and the sleeves oozing off of him like something that came out of a swamp. I'll tell you, if we can't get rid of Chris Dodd next year, we don't deserve to be in America anymore. I love to abuse Chris Dodd. Like Castro, I could go on for hours. I'm going to have a chance. I want to invite you to Waterbury on Sunday at 1 o'clock on the green and Sunday, because they're going to give me 15 minutes to go after Dodd. 15 minutes will just get me warmed up. And I want to point out on October 18th, right outside his office over on Trinity Street, we're going to be doing another Dump Dodd rally. So keep your eyes open for that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our Capitol building behind us. This is our house. We own this building. We ought to be proud of it. It's a beautiful building. If you've never been in it, take a look at it after this rally is over. Go ahead and see it. We have to take it back. We have to drive the money changers out of our temple. The lobbyists and the hack politicians, the crooks like that forger Joe Crisco and the grifter Tom Gaffey that have seats in our state Senate. We had, once Connecticut produced heroes, folks, there's a statue up over my head, I think it's right over there, of General Israel Putnam. When he heard that the first shots had been fired on the green in Lexington, he left his plow in the field, went and rallied his men, and rode to the sound of the firing. That's the kind of people we need again in Connecticut, and we've got them. These rallies, the people that have been organizing this, the Hartford Tea Party people have responded to the call, and it's happened all over Connecticut. Right over there, incidentally, is their booth. Make sure we have your name. We've got to be organized, and we've got to start organizing campaigns for the state legislature next year. We have to take this house back, and we need your help. We need your name, and we need your contribution over here at the tent to pay for the sound equipment and everything we've had on this. You know, I go after politicians, but let me say I knew some good men when I served here in the legislature. A few good men and women. And one of them was an example to me of how clean and good you feel when you stand up for what you really believe in, instead of just going along with the pack. Tom Scott and I, in 1991, some of you remember, organized a protest here at the state capitol on the other side of this building that drew 65,000 people.
And we're working back up to that, folks. But we lost that battle. And I kind of thought the war was over until I saw this uprising here that has started. And it is my great pleasure to welcome back to this uprising the clear voice of patriotic conservatives in Connecticut. The man who put Chris Dodd on the spot on his radio show, the only journalist that's done that and lost his job over it. The man, the straightest and most honest and honorable man I served in politics in Connecticut. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend Tom Scott.
Thank you. The feeling is certainly mutual. You know, this is a wholesome event, and there are a lot of people here, and, you know, you're going to have some people think that this wasn't such a magnificent event because there are only a few thousand here. Well, you know what? Today's Friday, and most of us work for a living, and I know many people made a great sacrifice to be here, but let me go to one of the slanders right off the bat. I want to see the hands of all the people in this crowd that were paid by the insurance industry to be here today. That's what I suspected. You know, we are standing in the shadow of the insurance industry right here in the great city of Hartford. Hartford is the insurance capital of the world. And I don't see too many insurance executives up here today pulling our strings and acting as marionettes and we the puppets. That's one slander that we need to get on the record. I'll tell you why I'm here. I'm here on behalf of my country. But I'm also here on behalf of my 5-year-old and my 9-year-old boys. Because I'm concerned about the kind of future that we the people are leaving for them. Now hear me well, folks. Hear me well. And if you get nothing else from this event today, and all the other events we're seeing from sea to shining sea, hear me well. Our very way of life is under attack. Our very way of life is under attack. And we need to fight back, and we see people here doing that today and all over America, and that's wonderful. And what you're finding, I know, is that participation in democracy can be one of the greatest experiences a person can have. And we're petitioning our government, we're demanding of our government that they go back to our roots, that they embrace the founders, that they embrace the notion of a true democracy and representative republic. And as for Connecticut, and as for our senior senator, let me just a word about this guy. Connecticut owes more to America than Chris Dodd. And while I'm on the subject, his partner on the Banks Committee for Massachusetts, the people of Massachusetts owe more to America than that moral misfit and that walking freak show, Barney Frank. The nerve of these people in the Disneyland on the Potomac called Washington, D.C., to tell us that they know how our lives ought to be run. We work about 5 months a year just to pay our taxes at every level, at the local, state, and federal. That's enough, thank you very much. We are not selfish in saying, not one more nickel, not now, not ever. Our freedom is on the line, folks. And when you go home, you need to redouble your efforts. You need to think about your own sphere of influence, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers. Talk to them. Tell them to get off the bench. There are a lot of people here, but we need many, many more. And it's up to you to talk to people, especially the young people who unfortunately think that our rights come from government. You need to turn that around. You need to educate them. You need to double your efforts. God bless you, and thanks for all you're doing.